8 remain. From 24, we are down to 8 teams in Euro 2024. I managed to get 7 out of 8 predictions correct in the last round. I have a feeling I won't do anywhere close as well in this round. Hi, I'm Adrian. Thanks for joining me here as we go through every matchup in the quarterfinals. And thanks to everyone who has showed up for our Euro Daily coverage. On that note, there will be no Euro Daily on Friday. Sorry, I will be at an event in Montreal. I will include Friday's matches in Saturday's video though, so sorry about that. I have work on top of work to do, so I will be able to get it out. Thanks for understanding. This one is the big one for me. Not just two big footballing nations, but two teams that are performing really well. So I'll probably yap about this one for a while. This match does kind of feel like it could be the final or the semi-final at the very least, based on the performances of these two sides, doesn't it? Q commenter saying, how could you say that about this team and what about this team? Me saying these teams have been good is not me saying other teams have been bad. Joys of the comment section. But anyway, Germany and Spain both topped their groups, Spain with a perfect record, Germany with a near perfect record, and they had varying degrees of difficulty in the next round. Spain, of course, took on Georgia, and despite going down early due to a Rabona own goal, the first they had conceded in this tournament actually, they rallied and picked Georgia apart in a way that Portugal couldn't before them. Germany, they took on Denmark, and despite a close call with Denmark's disallowed goal, they took the lead via a penalty, then added to their tally with a wicked counter that Musiala scored his third of the tournament from. Since we're here, we may as well continue on with Germany. Where I love Germany is on the counter, as they have great runners in Sané, Musiala, Havertz, and Wirtz. Curious who will get the start between Wirtz and Sané for this match against Spain. But yes, they're great on the counter, and they are typically quite good at breaking down the opposition defenses as well, ones that are sitting deeper. Gundogan makes those overlapping runs in the channels, breaking the lines and causing havoc. The wide players are dynamic, and while his finishing could be better, Havertz has got himself into good positions in the box during this tournament. They also have great passers, with Toni Kroos the best of them all when it comes to distribution, and they can be a threat from set pieces as they were against Denmark. Some loose defending coupled with the solid aerial ability of the Germans nearly saw them score a few goals against Denmark in the first 10 minutes or so. For Spain, much of their danger comes from their wingers, as both Williams and Yamal are absolute demons. So difficult for any fullback to contend with, no matter their experience. I'm really interested to see if Nagelsmann will field Mittelstadt or Raum up against Yamal, and how Kimmich will do with the directness and speed of Williams, given how he struggled against Vinicius in the past. Not saying Williams is at the level of Vinicius yet, but he's similarly fast and tricky, which Kimmich struggled with. There hasn't been a player like Williams or Yamal that Germany have had to deal with yet. I guess because there aren't many players like that in this tournament. Funnily enough, Germany has players of a similar skill set to them in this tournament. Musiala and Wirtz are also difficult to deal with, and Germany's attack will provide Spain with their first big test of this tournament, a defense that has always looked so controlled, right? Unai Simon has only had to make 6 saves in 3 matches he has played in, but he has been solid, preventing 2.47 goals and saving a penalty as well against Croatia. Ahead in the midfield, we will have quite the duel, Toni Kroos and Andrich, with Gundogan just ahead of them, facing off against Rodri, Pedri, and one of the most unsung heroes of the tournament, Fabian Ruiz, where Rodri gets a lot of the praise, and deservedly so. Fabian Ruiz has scored twice and assisted twice in this tournament as one of the top players, really. Every match he is featured in, he has been a threat, both through his distribution and apparently his finishing as well, something that was missing from his game for a while. But he finished the season strong with PSG, had a great pre-tournament friendly, and continued on that trajectory in Germany. Toni Kroos is also coming off of an incredible season. Still can't believe this is the last we'll see of him over the next few days or couple of weeks, man. It's crazy. He has looked as sharp as ever, completing more passes than anyone else in this tournament with his trademark supreme elite level accuracy, aimbot, leading the entire tournament with progressive passing distance, passes into the final third, second in key passes, etc. These two teams have some of the best passers, as Lamine Yamal is also right up there when it comes to shot creating actions per 90. Behind only Pedri, the leader of the tournament, Yamal is also just behind Kimmich when it comes to passes into the penalty area, and is just 2 behind Kroos when it comes to key passes. So it's quite the duel that we have here. When you look at the level of the opposition that each has faced, it's relatively equal. All things point to a tight game, as the difference maker in this matchup will come down to individual brilliance. The one worry I've had with Germany has been in defense, and Denmark registered their second highest expected goals against Germany in the entire tournament. Perhaps they were feeling the effects of missing Ta, or perhaps this really is the area of the pitch where Germany are weakest at the moment. Not weak, only weaker than their midfield and attack. That being said, Spain's defense looked very vulnerable to counters against Georgia at times, and you have to wonder if a higher quality opposition like Germany, who are good at countering, would have punished them on those moments in transition. I don't know, man. This one is an absolute coin flip for me, as I could argue with myself in circles going with either side. My main prediction is that it will be a fantastic match, one that everyone should watch, as these have been two of the best teams at this tournament. But in the end, I'll go with Spain, with Yamal getting his first goal of the tournament in a tight game. Ask me tomorrow, I might say Germany. England and Switzerland. Similarly to when they faced Italy, Switzerland's record against England is not favorable. They haven't won a match against England since 1981, and that is one of just 3 victories that they have against England, going all the way back to their first meeting in 1933. I remember it well. England were about 30 seconds from elimination and required some absolute magic from Jude Bellingham to pull them by the scruff of their necks into extra time. He saved them, where Harry Kane finally found his finishing to direct a header in the goal with the goal at his mercy. Even then, Slovakia had moments where they could have equalized in extra time. Pekarik at the back post was a very scary moment for them. Overall, England was extremely underwhelming once again, a poor performance versus Slovakia for most of the match until Bellingham's heroics. Then Kane gets the winner, and then they sat back again. Switzerland, on the other hand, they played against Italy, and Italy that was terrible, but Switzerland was fantastic as well. 2 things can be true, you guys. Don't try to undermine what Switzerland has achieved in this tournament just because they played against a poor Italian side. They beat them extremely comfortably. And this is the same Switzerland side that was a close offside away from beating Germany as well. That match ended 1-1. Murat Yakin was almost out of a job a while ago with Switzerland, but tactically, he's been fantastic in this tournament. Every personnel change he has made, every change of position for players in the attack, everything has come off well for him, and he deserves a ton of credit for how the Swiss have excelled in this tournament. He and Xhaka had a meeting pre-tournament, planned things out, and they have been all the better for it. You can see that the players trust him. I mean, why wouldn't you plan things around Xhaka, right? He has genuinely been one of the best midfielders in Europe over the past season based on what he did with Leverkusen. He bossed the midfield against Italy. Massive performance from him, even though he has been fighting an injury recently, but he should be good to go for the match against England. And speaking of injuries, England still have issues at the left back position, and with Trippier going off injured against Slovakia, it didn't help. Stones also left the stadium with strapping on his knee, but both players seem to think that they will be fine to face Switzerland. Whoever is playing left back will have a handful with Ndoye down that right flank, should Yakin set up in a similar fashion to the Italy match. But Marc Guéhi is definitely suspended for this match, which is a massive loss, as he has been a very, very good performer for England. I've enjoyed watching Guéhi. Konsa made it onto the pitch against Slovakia. He or Joe Gomez could take Guéhi's place. If you're expecting a high-scoring match, this probably isn't the one for you. England have scored just 4 goals in this tournament as they labor around the goal, while Switzerland are in a great scoring mood with 7 so far, 3 of which were scored against Hungary, the team that slapped England a couple of years ago in the Nations League. That was a different time though, right? Not trying to draw false equivalency here, just an interesting thing to note. Switzerland will be difficult to break down as that backline of Manuel Akanji, Fabian Schär, and Ricardo Rodriguez gets good protection from Xhaka and Freuler, and then you still have Sommer to beat behind them. That said, if Kane and Bellingham have turned a corner now after the late win over Slovakia, then they of course have the firepower and the know-how to beat these defenders. Switzerland's attack, they'll be mostly dangerous on the counter where they have been absolutely ruthless, but they have players who can beat defenders on one-on-one situations and crack it on goal after that. They aren't just one-dimensional. They can beat you in a few ways. Having watched every single match at this tournament, having seen both of these teams perform in the group stage and the round of 16, Switzerland have been the better team. but England has the better individuals in a few positions, including world-class individuals. It's the kind of match where if England do find their form, they could get through based on moments of magic from their skilled individuals. But as a unit, as a team, Switzerland is better. England should win this game, but I'll back the Swiss to pull off another big win. Here's a match that should be a highlight match for all of us to look forward to, but based on the performances of the two sides, it has the potential to be an absolute stinker. France got through Belgium thanks to a deflected strike, a Jan Vertonghen own goal. They're still yet to score a goal from open play. Portugal slipped through against Slovenia thanks to some incredible heroics from Diogo Costa. What a man. You may remember how he tormented Leverkusen in the Champions League a couple of years ago, saving 3 penalties against them. He's that guy, man. What a keeper. And not just the shootout, where he made history, but the save on Benjamin Sesko as well. That could have ended Portugal right there. Prior to that, I wasn't super impressed with how Roberto Martinez has Portugal playing at this tournament. You look at Spain, Austria, Germany as an example. All these teams have a clear identity, while Portugal's way of playing is to whip balls to the back post and hope that someone gets on the end of it. But it's only Ronaldo in there most of the time, with whichever other midfielder or winger decides to join him in the box. It can be pretty uninspired from Portugal at times, at least in the attack. Portugal needed a silly own goal and a defender slip up to beat Czechia and their incredibly low block in their first match. Then Turkey was, I don't know what Turkey was doing in that match. They were disastrous, but they got themselves together as the tournament went on, so shout out Turkey. Georgia, yikes, we all saw what happened there with the player rotations, gifts from Antonio Silva, etc. And we spoke of Slovenia already. France, as mentioned, goals are an issue, which is insane to think about given the players at their disposal. For me, one of the biggest issues with them going forward has been the relatively poor form of Antoine Griezmann in comparison to how good he was at both the 2018 World Cup and the 2022 World Cup. Doesn't like Euros, I guess. But I say this because he's felt like the missing link, as well as Giroud, I guess, come to think of it. That's the other big difference. Mbappe and Griezmann don't have big Olivier to play off of, as he's been on the bench. Thuram, for all of the good he brings, has a distinct lack of potency around the goal. He's not a high-yield goal scorer. He's not a hold-up guy. He helps those around him, but he is not a lethal finisher by any means. No suspensions or injuries at the moment for Portugal, though the French will be without Adrien Rabiot in their midfield. Looking at their previous matches and just looking at the players available, Camavinga replaced Rabiot against Poland and Austria, so he's the natural choice there. Not super likely to see Warren Zaire-Emery, but hey, who knows, maybe Deschamps will surprise us. As for Portugal's midfield, Bruno Fernandes is struggling this tournament, and Bernardo is struggling on the wing. Wouldn't mind seeing Bernardo in the midfield. Bernardo moving to midfield would make room for someone on the right. Conceição, he plays on the right. He would be the natural choice to put out there. As for the backline for France, I expect the same from them, as they have been really good in that regard. Even with the Upamecano mistake in there, they still have kept a clean sheet in 3 of their 4 matches. This is what Deschamps loves, as he wants his team to play tight and counter. But the attack has just been lacking in a big way. They don't have teeth in their counter. No goals from open play from Frenchmen is an insane thing after 4 matches. 2 own goals and a penalty to their name in 4 matches is crazy. Not good enough from any of their attackers, including Mbappe, though he did have some threatening moments against Belgium. But France don't want to be the one on the front foot as much as they were against Belgium. They'd rather counter. If you're Portugal, you perhaps want to surrender a bit of possession and strike on the counter against them, hoping Rafael Leão can do some damage with space to run with the ball. That's where he's most dangerous. Ronaldo has been pretty good at linking with him, even if Ronaldo's finishing has been poor by his own standards at this tournament. He'll still start against France. In fact, my bet is that Martinez will play the exact same lineup as against Slovenia. Maybe he'll switch to a back 3. The midfield of Palhinha and Vitinha was nice, more of that, as Vitinha is super press resistant and can dribble out of tight corridors. It's a really difficult match to call, as you can make a claim for either team. Is this the time where France's attack finally wakes up? If Portugal gets to play some counter-attacking football, are they the team that can finally hurt France's super assured back line, anchored by Magic Mike Maignan? I mean, we know Portugal can't score against low blocks. Will they excel against a team that is more open? Call me crazy, but I'm optimistic for this game for Portugal. A big struggle, but I think they can steal it. Matches between these two are always tight. Nobody has won by more than a goal since a friendly in 2001. The year before that was the last time France beat Portugal in the Euros as well. Otherwise, Portugal have been good against them. Well, the Netherlands have finally arrived at this tournament. Funnily enough, they didn't make it into Euro 2016 because Turkey beat them in qualifying. However, the last time they met was a friendly in 2021, and the Netherlands won that match 6-1, similarly to how Austria beat Turkey 6-1 the last time they met. An omen? Orkun Kokcu, who was born in Haarlem, Netherlands, will be suspended for this match. That's a shame for him, but the football gods taketh away and they giveth, and at least Turkey will be able to play Hakan Çalhanoğlu once again. He's back. As for the Netherlands, they don't have any suspensions for this match. They have a full squad to choose from, and as mentioned, they have finally arrived at this tournament after that performance against Romania. While they started a little slowly, they certainly found their feet after Cody Gakpo, international Gakpo, hammered one low past the keeper. From there, their performance was fantastic, with the only issue being that they took so long to find their second. Against another opposition, that could have been a big problem for them, as the match could have been wrestled from their control. But the Netherlands defended much better against Romania than they had against previous teams, even if there was still a shaky moment and error from Van Dijk thrown in there. I think that match really showed Koeman who his top team is, as Daniel Malen came on in the second half and ended up scoring a brace actually. Just the fourth player in Euros history to accomplish that. Him on the right, Gakpo on the left, Simmons through the middle, and Depay as the striker. Sometimes it feels like Netherlands would benefit from having a true number 9 rather than a floater like Depay, someone who will just hammer it on goal when it comes to them in the box, having better instincts in the box. But beggars can't be choosers, and while he has wasted a few opportunities, Depay hasn't been all that bad. Great goal against Austria, remember? As for Turkey, they have had a bit of a weird tournament. Close match against Georgia that could have gone either way prior to Aktürkoğlu's open net goal. Then a very forgettable match against Portugal that they lost 3-0. Then a final group stage match against Czechia where they were a man up for 70 minutes and there was that strange disallowed goal moment. However, after all that, they put in a strong defensive performance against Austria. They defended quite well, and thankfully for them, Baumgartner was having an off day with his finishing as he blew a few chances. And the ones that he didn't, Mert Günok was there to save the day. That save he made at the end of the match was just out of this world. Massive performance by Big Mert. One area where they perhaps struggled a bit was the attack against Austria, as they managed to have just 3 shots on target against them, 2 of which were from their corner kick goals, which were quite strange. That first one especially, with Baumgartner clearing it off the line into his own teammate. It bounces back to the goal and Pence clears it off the line again. Then Demiral smashes it in. Absolute mess. But yes, they had 3 attempts on target. 2 of them were their goals. With how well they defended, you would think that perhaps they will adopt a similar strategy against the Netherlands. Sit tight, hope for the best, and try to hurt the Netherlands with their very talented attackers like Yilmaz and Güler. Shout out Yildiz as well, but he was awfully quiet against Austria. Güler and Yilmaz were dangerous. Turkey didn't sit so deep until Austria got themselves within a goal. Before that, they were actually set up quite well by Montella to bypass the Austrian press, but that didn't translate to many opportunities. They still had just 6 attempts total in that match. I fear for them in that the Netherlands, with Simmons, Gakpo, Malen, and Depay running at them, the dynamism they have, and the brilliant Reinders linking play will be a lot for Turkey to handle defensively, and this could be the end of the line for them. I would love to see them continue their run, go on a Morocco-esque run, or like their run where they finished 3rd in the World Cup in 2002. Especially since their supporters are incredible to have in this tournament, but with the form that Netherlands have found, especially in the attack, I feel like they're a bridge too far. You're essentially hoping they will play another lights-out defensive match while finding goals from somewhere. That's tough. I have Netherlands going through here. Alright guys, those are all of my picks. As always, drop yours below so I can read about why you think I'm such an idiot. I gotta say, some of you make me laugh with the certainty you have in your comments, as if when you don't agree with me, you speak as if I gave you the wrong answer. Like the information's available out there, when nobody knows the answer at this point. We're all just guessing. I hope I can have as good of a run as the last round, but that is probably not gonna happen. But again, make sure to leave your comments below. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Adrian, and I will see you on Saturday. Take care.